Hey, welcome back to the channel, where we document the growth of a $100,000 account I've created for my newborn son. We're growing the account using fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and some news. If that's what you're into, stick around. All right, welcome to the weekly analysis. And this week was very interesting where we had a lot of moves to the upside, climbing a wall of worry here. But today we had some interesting things going on. Finally starting to see a little bit of weakness, and our tweeter in chief is starting to get a little bit active. So he wrote today that apparently Canada is being very difficult to deal with, and that he was going to escalate some trade tensions with that country, and the market sold off, intraday. But hey, wow, it did another V towards the end of the day. But we're going to keep monitoring that because we are pretty extended. Once we get into the market monitor section, I can show you guys the typical moves and where we're at right now in the cycle. We're almost a full green cycle here, 5 days in. So just interesting. He also was, tweeting out, his support for the big bill. So some interesting things happening where he's starting to tweet again. He's wanting to get the bill passed, and perhaps some of these trade deals with certain countries are not going to be, up to his standards. So he's going to start fighting again now that we're at all-time highs. So that's something to note going into next week. But without any further ado, let's go to the Market Monitor and see where we're at. All right, so for those of you who are new to the channel, the Market Monitor is essentially a collection of data I've taken over time. It uses the positions of stocks in the market, whether they're in uptrends, whether they're in downtrends, or whether they're going sideways. And with that information, I put it all together in a little model that can give us a little insight into what could happen into the future. So currently we are Market Monitor green, and we are day 5. And green cycles typically go for about 12.6 days, and they on average move about 3.78%. We are currently at day 5, and we've already had a 3.23% move. So we've already almost kind of filled up the glass. But it's early, so that tells us that this move, this continuation move, is very strong. So that could lead to more strength. We're only at distribution day 1, so not too much distribution in the market. And as you can see from today's action, anytime distribution comes in, it's instantly bought, which is very interesting. Moving onwards to the stage analysis, and what the stage analysis is I just basically track stocks and their positions, whether they're in uptrends and downtrends. And as you can see here, stage 2 stocks are at 58%. Stage 1 stocks are at 15%. Stage 3 stocks are at 6%. And stage 4 stocks are at 21%, with only one distribution day. So that's looking pretty good. On top of that, you see average 6. So I take the average last 16 data points, and that's what you get there right above. And we are currently green on stage 2, which means more stocks are moving on average into bullish trends. And then if you could see here on stage 4 and stage 3 and stage 1, less stocks are in downtrends and less stocks are going sideways. So that's what we like to see when everything's bullish. All right, so let's move on to some internals. If you look here, it's pretty remarkable. When we first had this follow-through day rally starting, I was commenting that the VIX was still pretty high, but now we've had a significant crush in the VIX. The VIX is at 16.25, and the put-call ratio has just been getting clobbered here. It's 0.65. So yeah, moving onwards, this 20 bull and 20 bear, we are starting to see a pickup. So that means 51 stocks in the past 5 days have made 20% moves or more. Nothing really much to report on the higher highs and the lower lows. It's just standard data there. and same with the bullish C and bear C, which is the position of the stock, whether it's ending at the high of the day or the low of the day. Moving onwards to some more internals, we can see here that the 5% moves on $100 million volume or more is pretty muted, so nothing to note there. And the short-term momentum up, the STMU, is at 166. We're still in an uptrend there. We haven't gotten a sell signal yet, but we'll continue to monitor that closely, and that will give us, an indication whether to buy some protection again going forward. So TD sell and TD buy is also muted. But one thing that's very interesting in this AI indicator is the anxiety index. It's actually gone higher. So this market is really climbing a wall of worry, because under the surface, I guess there's a lot of anxious investors and anxious people, even with the market just going straight up, which is what you like to see. I mean, that's basically, this AI indicator is the fuel in the tank for the market. So that's, something very interesting there. And the 63P, that's basically the stage 2 plus stage 1. So we got 73% of stocks are on uptrends or bullish sideways trends. It's getting a little bit overbought, but we're going to just continue to monitor that, because that's bullish in nature. Once it gets maybe above 80, that would be very overbought. All right, so moving onwards. This is something I was getting a little bit nervous at. The long-term breadth of the market, it was getting pretty low there for a little while, but now we're back to like 27, and that's very bullish. So we like to see that go into an uptrend, and we like to see a lot of bad data coming off the market. So yeah, that's the market monitor. It's bullish. We've had an average uptrend so far. We can continue to go longer, because we're just now touching fresh new highs. So this is kind of what you like to see. I mean, ideally, the market should go sideways here, and we'll just continue to monitor it, because, I mean, if Trump's starting to tweet again about trade relations, that means, people are, he's willing to essentially damage the market and get more stuff that he wants, because the market's very strong. Okay, so yeah, that's the market monitor. Let's move on to the portfolio segment of the video, and see how we're doing. All right, so for those of you who are new, this is the portfolio segment where we track the movement of the $100,000 account I started in 2025 for my newborn child. So as you can see here, the account is sitting at 108,600, and we're down slightly on the day, kind of underperforming, because unfortunately, like we bought some puts, and we bought weekly puts, so they kind of expired worthless today. Some of the protection that we had, because we were planning on sideways to down, kind of backfired, but that's the way it goes. Account's still moving pretty nicely. We're still outperforming the S&P 500. So let's go check out that chart really quick. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here, the account is still outperforming the S&P 500, about 5-6% here. But I mean, one thing we're really monitoring is how the S&P has been going straight up, and we've kind of been going sideways. So that's partly because we bought some protection and we were planning on downside. When the downside didn't occur, we got a new reinvigorated rally, and that's just the game we play. So we're still doing well, still monitoring it, but we want to be outperforming the S&P 500 at all times. So we're going to keep working towards that. But let's see what's making the big moves, what's kind of hurting us in the portfolio, and let's check that out. As you can see here, the top gainers, I mean, we have this Digital Turbine, which is an advertising company. Zim, we actually recently added more into this, so it's nice to see that this name is picking up some steam. It's an Israeli shipping company, and now that with the war stuff kind of ending here, we like to see that go higher, because that's a big dividend payer for the account. I think it yields like 15%, 16%, so that's good. And then some of the emerging market stuff starting to pick up, Grab Holdings, which is basically like a delivery service in Vietnam. And then, this is an interesting one that showed up in the gainers, which is like an income fund. This income fund is a CLO fund, which basically they issue debt to small and mid-sized companies, and this is an equity tranche CLO, so it's a very risky one. It yields about 26%, and this thing's just not been well. It's just been going down a lot. But so it's nice to see that it's finally starting to go the right direction. And then moving onwards, the next thing we see is Stone Cold, which is Brazilian. So we like to see the Brazilian stocks doing well. All right, so let's go check out on the law side, like what's going on over there. So yeah, as I was saying in the previous video, this Up FinTech holding, this Tiger, is kind of pulling back here. We had a bullish day with mega volume, and unfortunately, like we say in the downside, when it's bullish, in the upside, it's turning out to be kind of bearish. It's not holding the gain, so that's unfortunate. It's probably going to go sideways. Similar thing to apps, so we're going to keep monitoring that moving forward. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the tech stocks are kind of pulling back here today, like the small cap tech stocks, which is normal to see. And then the gold and silver miners are pulling back, and the nuclear stocks are pulling back. So we kind of anticipated that. We'd like to see the gold and silver miners go up, but we have some calls sold on those, so it's not the biggest setback. But yeah, we're going to monitor that as well. All right, but for anybody who's just new to the channel, I mean, this is at the end of the day, we're outperforming the S&P 500 and QQQ, but this is majority of this account is actually a bond portfolio. So as you can see here, the yield on the account is about 5%. Yeah, we're liking the action so far. I think what I'm going to do going forwards is maybe on the week ahead segment, I'll kind of highlight the income portion of the account. Because I know I never really do that. I kind of just do the big gainers and big loss, and it's always kind of the stock portion. But yeah, maybe on Monday, what I'm going to do is go forward and do some of the income stocks, just to show you guys what I'm doing over there. All right, so that's kind of the portfolio segment. Let's go see the TA part and just talk about some stocks that had big moves today. All right, so what you're looking at here is ticker symbol SPY, the S&P 500 index. And just wanted to highlight here the move we had off of the Trump tweet. Yeah, the market went down, I think, let's see here, about 0.7% after the tweet, and we basically got it all back. Interesting action. Trump's starting to tweet again. Just wanted to highlight that before we go on to the market segment. Yeah, let's go check this out. Okay, so this was my kind of cycle forecast of how much the market should move over the 12-day period. We are obviously above that line and just moving nicely. I mean, we do have a little pickup here in volume with a smaller spread, so it's kind of signaling people are starting to sell here, and so that the market might probably move sideways from here because it's already had its average move. It's a little extended. Some sideways and digestion is probably needed. So let's highlight some stocks that were moving. You know what? It's not in the public account, but in my account. We were long Nike, and we had sold the $70 August calls going into this earnings, and man, this thing just exploded. It went up about 15%, and yeah, right through our strike. But we're just going to hold on to it for a little while because it's kind of what it reminds me of. Is it reminds me of ELF. It did the same sort of a thing, gapped up into the yearly moving average with a nice little wick, and it just went sideways for a month. So, we're looking at Nike here. Looks pretty similar. That's probably, what the doctor's ordering here on Nike. Yeah, moving onwards to apps. This thing is another big mover because, I mean, it had this giant 60% move, gave it all back, and now hopefully, it's just going to start trending. We were debating selling, but we're just monitoring it. We don't like how this candle's coming in and on a pickup in volume. Not last time I had a pickup in volume, we kind of declined here. So watching that, we have the $8 calls sold in August. We're doing pretty well on those. Another big move I wanna accent here that came in with pretty decent volume here is Amazon. So we've been long Amazon, since like here, and I think we added a little bit more down here. It's primarily the robotics play and the delivery play, because we're just seeing like, UPS is getting hammered, FedEx is getting hammered, and Amazon, even though it's got AWS, which is accounting for most of its stock price, it's just doing really well. It's doing a lot better. It's just a market performer in the portfolio that you kind of need. And so yeah, I mean, this is a little interesting that we're breaking out on this type of volume. It's kind of bearish, so we're going to monitor that because it's, I mean, it's at the high of the day. If we can get above today's candle and we could just start going, perhaps there's some news that they're pricing in that nobody knows about. So that's just something to note. Yeah, one thing that was interesting about the Canada relations, I'm long this auto parts manufacturer from Canada, and you know, this is a stock that you want to look at whenever there's Canadian trade relations. These guys in the market are going to price into this stock if the relationship is good or if the relationship is bad. And as you can see intraday here, the moment Trump announced the escalation of trade tensions and this stock instantly sold off, but it didn't follow through to the downside. So I'm thinking, even though he sent out this tweet, maybe it's not so bad, because this thing almost got it all back, like half of it back. And yeah, it's just something I'm watching it for Canadian trade relations, because it's auto part manufacturer primarily in Canada. Yeah, I mean, something else that's kind of picking up is the UNH trade. This is another thing that my account, but not in the public one. But this thing is just going side. There's a lot of retail people in this stock. We basically got the bottom, so we were able to like actually be up on this thing, and we're just holding it. But I think the way this works is whenever these big stocks kind of dump like this, and there's a lot of retail that are in it, it just goes sideways for forever. Like similar to like Intel. A bunch of retail people were long Intel, and then this thing has just basically been dead money for a year whenever there's a lot of retail in the stock. So we're going to just figure out what we're doing there. So one thing I did add to this portfolio today is this BTBT. Now, why did I add BTBT and what did I sell? So I sold some KWeb because I mean, even though this is a great setup, I think Chinese stocks are about to go. I only need 100 shares in the account, and I had like 118 or something. So we sold about 10 of them or 15 or something. And then we used that to get into this BTBT, which is they're trying to become a pure play on Ethereum. And essentially they just took on a bunch of debt, and the CEO and a director bought down here with this big volume. So anytime there's a big volume and it's above that candle, I'm a bull. So we're going to have to see. I sold the $3 calls. So we're in it at the same price that the offering was at, about $2. So we're going to just monitor that. I mean, we like this giant base that it's in. And given that the volume's coming here in the low half of the range, we're pretty bullish on this thing. And so I was looking into it, with the whole stablecoin thing happening, which is another thing I want to talk about, because like this circle is getting interesting. If this thing can come down just a little bit more, maybe in the hundreds, we're gonna for sure be inside in this one. So we're interested in that. But this BTBT, if this thing can be a pure play on Ethereum, and somehow they can figure out how to get the Ethereum price higher, because listen, when I was involved in some Ethereum stuff, and Ethereum is like not usable at 4,000, at higher prices. So if they can somehow figure out a way to make it usable and have the price go up, this is the pure play Ethereum treasury company. So, and if the CEO is buying, I just bought a little bit, a 0.6% position. So that's something new. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to make this video too long, but just wanted to show you guys that new addition. And I hope you guys are going to have a great week. Hey, if you like the content, please feel free to comment and like and subscribe. Hey, really appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a great one. Peace.